second, guys. If you can hear me, I'm gonna do one quick thing. I just want to. Hello. Hi, guys.
Hey, everyone.
Welcome to episode number 32 of
What's Brewing Sis?
I'm Shelly.
I'm Bianca.
And I'm Deanna. And here we come together to serve the brew.
As always. Different setup, same folks. You know what I'm saying? We still out here.
Same channel.
Everybody's at home today.
But yes, but we are still here.
Why have we been separate? What's going on? We got the vid. I got the vid.
COVID got us, well, two of the three of us.
Yeah.
So Shelly and I got COVID. Our last pop-up. So that's December 11th.
Yep.
And it's been a ride.
A roller coaster.
It's been a roller coaster. It's been a ride. It has been a time.
I had to reflect back on our episode with Keena, where she was talking about seasonal depression. And I'm like, I'm great this year. Everything is going good. I'm feeling good. I'm taking my vitamins. I hadn't had COVID up until now. And then it was like, I'm here.
Right. It came knocking on that door, baby.
It came knocking on the door. I was on the phone talking to Bianca, and Bianca wasn't feeling good. And then Bianca, I'll let you tell your own story.
So that Tuesday, so what was that? The 13th, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
I had a little cough. It's a small little, polite little cough. And then the very 5 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and I just could not breathe, and I had this crazy cough. Mm-hmm. And so I literally was like, I need to go to the bathroom and try to cough this up. I'm thinking I just got some phlegm in my throat. I went into the craziest coughing fit to the point where I just could not breathe, catch my breath, talk. It was bad. And I was like, okay, I'm like panicking now. I'm like, I'm gonna just go lay down. Maybe if I lay down, I'll be good. And by the time I made it back to my bedroom, I was starting to get dizzy. Like, nah, fam, if you lay down, it's like, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went and knocked on my son's room, and he's like, what's going on? So I was like, yeah, I think I need help. So he was like, did you already call 911? I'm like, yes, I ain't going, And they basically came and took me to the hospital. But I was released the same day. I just had some breathing treatments and stuff like that. And, they sent me on my way and prescribed some meds and told me to drink lots of water and all that good stuff. I got a cough right now.
Excuse me. So that's yeah. So Bianca told me about her night, and prior to that, I was having the little cough too, and I'm like, I think I'm okay. I don't think, but I had a really, really bad headache prior to that, so I was like, let me just take the test. Everything is pointing all to COVID. Bianca had COVID. I was sitting next to Bianca talking to it. I was like, there's just a chance that I just very well may have it, and took the test, and came out positive, and I'm like, no, I took all the precautions, I did everything I was supposed to do, um, but it was my time, I guess. It was my time for
Yeah.
COVID. So
Yeah.
it's
And
a tough couple of weeks with just like we haven't even talked
Not much.
very much at all.
Yeah.
I know I haven't, so I have just been like secluded, starting to feel the blues because I'm like, why? Especially so close to Christmas and
mm-hmm.
all of that good stuff. But I'm surviving.
Oh, that's bad. Deanna, how about you? Tell us your story.
Well, I did not test positive for COVID, but I was also under the weather. I did the at home COVID test, then I went to the immediate care because I had no voice, like no voice.
Mhm.
It's just now starting to make a comeback, but I also had a wicked cough, and I just didn't feel well. So I got tested for COVID, flu, and strep, and all of those tests were negative, but they did treat me for an unspecified throat infection. So it's like, whatever.
Girl.
Mhm.
I can't just have what everybody else have. I had to have something.
Nah, you gotta be
You are
different.
Gotta
so
be
You are
so.
exceptional to all the rules. I love it. But
Yeah,
COVID is
but,
not to play with. All of the
mm-mm.
stories that I heard of what I thought that it was going to be, it was that and more. I find myself sharing COVID stories with coworkers and you guys. Well, Bianca, Deanna, you're exceptional. So it sucks. It
Mhm.
definitely sucks.
Yeah.
But take your vitamins daily, get your booster shots, get your COVID shots, try to avoid it because it is still out there.
Wear your
Yeah.
mask too. I
When
know everybody's like,
you're-
oh, the mask is stupid. It don't make sense. But I promise you, I've been the most diligent person wearing my mask, never got COVID. The minute I start getting lax, here it
Well, I
comes.
think the problem is though it only works if everybody is doing it.
Right.
Like we
Yeah.
like Shelly said, she went to the dentist office and asked them for a mask, and they're like, "Oh, we're not mandating the mask. You don't need the mask."
I am. I'm mandated.
Right. It's like, but kind of needs like full participation.
Right.
Yeah. Also, listen, if you got a little cough, a little tick in your throat, a little sneeze, stay your behind at home. I'm trying not to curse at folks, but stay your butt at home.
Hmm.
Take a home test. You could get them free from the post office.
Mhm.
Huh?
I said, I could stay your ass at home.
Stay your
Yeah.
ass at home. I was trying to be polite.
Look,
Stay your asses at home. You
right.
got a little tick on your throat, a little cough. Don't be like, well, it's probably nothing. No. The post office give out free tests.
Yeah.
Take your little free post office test, figure it out before you go outside passing it to other people. That's annoying. I'm safe. When I got a little sneeze, a little tickle, I'm like, okay, is it my allergies? Is it what is it? What's happening here before I go out and affect other people? I try to figure it out. I expect that same courtesy from others. Stay at home. You're not missing nothing outside. You're really not. I promise you, you ain't. Please don't pass this to folks.
Yeah, totally agree. So, that's a great tip too with the post office and the fact that they have tests for free. Go get your free COVID test because that's essentially how I found out that I had it. And yeah, get
And
your free.
most insurance, I mean, your insurance also when you test in the mail, you can order them. You can go, to whatever pharmacy and get them filled. You get like 8 tests per person in your household, so it's like
Girl, I ain't
monthly.
know about that.
Yeah, it's like no reason not to have at home COVID tests on that.
Mm.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah, very important. Get your test. So with us, with this being our very last episode of the year, we wanted to come together kind of and recap some of the shows that we've had, talk about some of the guests that we had on the show. And just like every show, we want to start off with some icebreakers. We're going to have some fun, as much fun as we possibly can, not being next to each other.
But before we do that, let's recap our last episode.
Yes, Lord.
Last two episodes. So we had our Friends Miss episodes.
We did part 2.
Yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed that. It was so much fun for us.
You guys, like literally, it's so funny. I think now going into the new year, I've decided like if it's a video that I have to edit, I'm only going to watch it once because by the time it airs, I've had them watched it like 5 times, and I'm like, oh my god, y'all are so funny. It's so many things you miss when we're shooting the episodes.
Yeah,
y'all are hilarious.
Yeah, it was definitely funny. The games. I'm competitive. Yeah. I realized that I'm more competitive than what I thought.
Girl,
like I know I'm competitive, but like I'm really competitive.
You a whole nother other type of competitive.
I'm like for real competitive. Like, nah, I ain't losing competitive. So.
Yes. And then I made the mistake by saying that Deanna won, but Bianca really won. And I was like, Deanna was like, we need to do a recap. We need to do it. And I said, let me go back through this. And so I literally went back and checked back through it. I'm like, let me just count it and make sure. And then I was like, I think I made another mistake. I think
I'm like, I don't know what kind of scorekeeping was going on there, but it's okay.
My mom watched that episode and she was like, yeah, next time y'all do that, I think you should have like the score come at different times. I'm like, come on, you come in. It's just craziness. But yes, that was a great time and definitely something good to do when you're not feeling well. Our podcasts are hilarious. So
yes.
Definitely watch.
Yeah, but these are all games that you could definitely play with your family and friends. Christmas time, even New Year's. I know,
families get together.
I'm here, but hold on. Keep the conversation going.
Oh yeah.
This is definitely something you could play during the New Year's when your family gets together, or whenever. It's fun games to play.
Yeah, we actually did get to play some games. So I was with my family the night before Christmas Eve, on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and we had games. I think each night different games. Like on Christmas Day, we were just playing like cards, like spades, or whatever. On Christmas Eve, we played spoons and charades.
Spoons?
It's a card game too. Like basically, when the first person gets 4 of a kind, they pick up a spoon, and then like it's 1 spoon short. So you got to be paying attention for when the person grabs the spoon, and everybody grab a spoon. The person without a spoon is out. And keep playing until the last person standing.
Like an actual spoon?
Yes. So. And we actually improvised. The game is called Spoons, but we used plastic knives. So I guess we played knives instead of spoons. But
always changing the rules.
Hey, you always have a bunch of extra plastic knives. Nobody really uses all those knives.
Very true. Very true.
Let's make use of the knives.
I think I sung "What Do the Lonely Do" too many times during Christmas because
that is hilarious.
Oh my god!
What do they do? Look, let me tell you what they do. They watch.
I'm telling you that's one of my jams. That is like what that song slaps. Sorry.
Just many times that I bought it to fruition. Like I did not.
You didn't intend to be the lonely, but
right. And then when everybody found out she got COVID, they're like, "You gonna stay home?"
They're like,
yeah. I mean, that was definitely like the sad part for me because normally, like, I spend time with my father or my mother-in-law was supposed to have a get together for Christmas, but it was a few of us who were sick. So my son actually ended up getting COVID 3 days later, I'm sure for me. So it was like everybody's sick. Forget it. We're gonna cancel it for right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was definitely lonely for me because I'm so used to having multiple homes to go to and then trying to figure out how I'm gonna get everywhere in the same day. So,
Yeah.
but it was good. We still enjoyed ourselves as a family. We had family dinner, me, my son, and my mom, and opened our gifts and just chillaxed.
Yeah. Kept
Mhm.
the traditions going. I love that. Same for us. We kept the traditions going. We just had to stay away from each other. I would definitely say Savannah enjoyed her lashes Christmas because she got lashes for days, and she got everything she wanted or she asked for. So
Oh,
um,
good.
yeah, for sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, so with this being the recap, and we want to kind of include the best of, we want to have some fun. Let's get into our icebreaker questions. So, first up, have you ever had an imaginary best friend?
No.
I think y'all already know this about me, but yes, I did. As a young girl, raised a bunch of boys. Yeah, I had an imaginary friend named Piano. I think she was kind of like my alter ego, or like Piano did all the bad stuff. So if Piano, she would speak up too. Like if I um if I thought my aunt was mean, I would say, Piano has an aunt who drives a blue car that she can't stand. Just so
Oh,
happened that I also had an aunt that drive a blue car. So,
oh,
It
she's
just so happened,
you was
huh?
but I
um
used to like have a seat at the table for Piano. Put her placemat down. Be upset if somebody sit on her.
piano was a female, a female.
Yes,
Imaginary
yes,
friend. Was she a person? Like, was she like a person, a
yes.
human?
Good person.
I don't know. Like,
It could be a bunny. I don't know.
No, Piano was a person.
Okay.
She was my real
there's
daughter.
a new Disney movie, and there was a imaginary character. I want to say his name was Bing Bong. I'm probably wrong, but yeah, he wasn't a person. He was like a collection of like clothes.
Yeah,
Okay.
Beata was a person. She had she just was more outgoing and outspoken. You know.
Mm.
I did not have an imaginary friend, but what I would do, and I'm fine with admitting this because this is just my life or whatever. I talked to myself. Like I would like when my mom and my brothers were like together in a different room, I would like go in another room and like sing. Like sing and like talk to myself and like, yeah, girl, we gonna do this, and then I would sing, and then they would, without me knowing, be like behind me, and then I'll like turn around and they would be looking at me that entire time. But yeah, that's what I would do because I was the only girl and I wanted like a girl
Yeah,
friend at home, so that's what I would do.
yeah. You were just making your own fun.
When I tell these stories, me, I could be looking like, oh my god.
I mean, Bianca is the only child, so she should have asked some of that type of. But
Well, although I was the only child, I was raised in a house. Like we lived in a house where it was like probably like 15 people, 10 people. I don't know how many people were in our house. It was a lot of people in the house. So I didn't really get to have the only child experience really until I was like 10 or 11, when my cousins moved out. But even still, it was like more older cousins that I lived with. So I really didn't have the only child experience, although I was the only girl. But I was at like everybody else's house. I was at Janelle's house all the damn time. And then at some point, I was with you, spend the night on the weekends, Deanna. So I was like outside. And
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, so my mom was actually concerned about my imaginary friend, but this was
Ooh.
like I was like 3 and 4 years old. So, but she said that the doctor told her that when I started school and had other friends and stuff, that Piano would likely go away, and she did.
no good.
And
Yeah.
she didn't hang out when I was with my cousins and stuff, because then I had somebody else to play with. So mostly
Right.
piano was just when I was like at home. Of course my mother would make my brothers play with me sometime, but it would be reluctantly, and they want to play with my dolls and stuff.
Right.
So, they would like be mean to my dolls or something.
I almost feel like that's what would be the problem. Like if piano came along with you to, hang out. Like that's what.
Yeah, she moved on by the time we turned 5. She moved
Yeah.
on to some other little girl. But I mean, sometimes I guess at like 3 and 4, she might would go with me maybe to my grandparents' house or my aunt's house, but
Yeah.
not when other kids were around that could play with, like, you know.
I
Yeah.
probably would be like, I don't know if I want to be her friend. She got
Oh, you judging?
we gotta save a shot for this person that's not here.
I don't know
Yeah,
if my
piano
parents
was dope.
I don't know if my parents saw me talking to myself as a problem, but I feel like that was a problem. That
You just had a vivid imagination like me,
Yeah.
it was
I
just
enjoyed
imagining.
technology.
I think our generation had really, really great imaginations, and I wish that for these younger kids coming up. I think kids are so into TikTok and all these other devices now that they're losing a little bit of that imagination that we had.
Yeah,
Um,
but TikTok is pretty imaginative too. I kind of envy would be a wrong word, but like I don't know. I admire what people come up with, the creative things that they tend to come up with. I think what scares me is that it tends to catch on as a trend, and then everybody's doing it, so it's like you're
mhm.
being creative.
Yeah,
But
I
some
think
of the
it's
stuff
too
people
much. It's
post is
too
so
much at
cool.
times.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
think we
I
could deal
think,
with it a little if it was a little less, like if everything wasn't on social media or
yeah,
everything, like everything is so scrutinized. I think, although the creativity and the technology is great, it creates a new set of problems too.
it does. Does.
Cyberbullying or people feeling like they have to live up to these fake images that they see online and all that. So it just creates a new set of problems, but the innovation itself is nice, but
It is.
it's just too much of it.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think I just think back to a time where it was like, I'm sitting on my couch right now. We would put the couch pillows down and then build a fort, and then we're in the
mhm.
fort and we're doing, like pretending to be in an igloo or whatever the case may be, or outside jumping rope, and now we're gonna make a new rope game or make a new hand clap game or whatever the case may be. And there wasn't any devices for us to be involved in. We made our own fun. The same
Yeah.
dances they're making up on TikTok, we made up outside, without having a camera in our face.
I was making fun of Savannah today with some of the dances that they do, and she was telling me that the stuff is not in style anymore. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That brings me to our second question. So, who was your favorite cartoon character growing up? And if you're here and you're join us in the live chat and tell us who was your favorite cartoon character as a kid.
My favorite cartoon character. So it'll be a toss up. Strawberry Shortcake. She was my jam.
Oh,
Yes. Hello Kitty. She was my jam.
yeah.
And the third one was Shatara from the Thundercats.
Okay. Okay. What about you, Deanna?
Yeah, I was kind of fickle when it came to cartoons. I really didn't like the idea of cartoons, but I would watch them because it was like kids watch cartoons. But yeah, part of my crazy. But I did like, I guess, I liked Rainbow Bright, and I liked Smurfette. I liked Strawberry Shortcake. So I think I liked like the accessories and stuff that you got, the toys or whatever, but I didn't really like the cartoons themselves. I don't know. I felt like cartoons were kind of trivial.
I want to do a deep dive on that at a later time. Shelly, what's your answer?
Carolyn is here. Hi, Carolyn.
Hey, Carolyn. Pink Panther and the Roadrunner. Nice.
Pink Panther and Roadrunner. I love both of those, but for me, I'm gonna say like I was really big into like Tom and Jerry. The Stones was like my favorite, and I loved Pebbles. Um, but like it's Hello Kitty for sure, but that was kind of like in my older years.
Yeah, right.
Right. I like the stuff for Hello Kitty. Yeah, she's definitely her
And I
all
tried
the
to
accessories.
push it on Savannah, and she was like, I don't know Hello Kitty.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was my favorite, Tom and Jerry, and then my parents, if they're watching, they're gonna, I know these people so well, they're probably saying Yaki, Yaki Doodle Duck. It was a character that was sometimes featured on Tom and Jerry sometimes too, but my parents say that I look like Yaki, so
Jackie Little Duck. I don't know if I remember that.
I have to find a picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah, that was mine.
Okay.
Let's see.
I
Next,
did kind of like Acme Acres. That
you did not like Acne
I
Acres?
did. I probably like that a little bit.
Okay.
I don't remember that cartoon.
You're an interesting person. We are going to dive into that.
I don't like animation though.
I think during this, podcast for this year, I've learned so much about y'all that I didn't know.
Yeah, me too.
Every time it's like, what? Wait, say that
You never told me that.
again.
I feel like it's all in fun, too.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the icebreaker questions make me think like, oh, okay, yeah, what was this? How did I feel? And it's so weird, not weird, I guess, but that our answers are so completely different. I would think more of our stuff would be a little bit,
Similar.
yeah. Not always. What was your favorite subject in high school?
High school.
What
girl.
was yours, Carolyn? We want to know.
Girl outside.
Yeah.
High school, I don't know if I really had a favorite. So think about me in high school. I was the kid who did enough to get by. I definitely was smart and I passed classes, even though I went as much as what was required and I did as much work as was required to pass. So I can't necessarily say I had a favorite subject. No, I'm gonna take that back. The one class that I did like, it was a guy, and he knew Fred Hampton. It was like a debate class.
Political science or something.
What's the political science? It was
teacher.
Huh?
What was the teacher's name?
It's escaping me right now. He was on the yellow floor.
Was he married to another teacher there? That guy?
No, not him. I did like him though. This guy was on the yellow floor. He was it was like a debate class. Like we would debate topics.
For context, to explain to people why we're saying yellow floor.
Oh, so at Proviso East, each floor, the lockers were different colors. There was a blue floor, red floor, yellow floor. Typically, I think during that time, the freshmen were supposed to be on the red floor. Am I correct, guys? And then the upperclassmen were on the yellow floor, if I'm not mistaken. But this class, it was like a debate class, and so we would get a topic and we would have to debate it.
Was it psychology or sociology? Because I know it
was sociology, I believe.
Okay.
I believe it was that, and I always loved that type of topic, and I like to debate for whatever reason. So I did enjoy that class. Funny story was my senior year. I was failing. I'm transparent. I was failing a couple classes, and they called all of my teachers in for a surprise meeting with my mother, unbeknownst to me. And this teacher afterwards was like, I don't even know why they called me down there. He was like, I would have never known that you were failing classes because you got an A in this class and you do your homework and you're always here. So, like, what is happening? And I was like, I don't like them other classes. And he was like, well, but I really did enjoy his class.
Okay, what about you? Carolyn said spelling and shorthand.
Okay. I think they need to bring shorthand back, but all right.
Yeah. I don't think we even had shorthand. They did away with it. But I think that's something that I would have liked to have learned.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite subjects were always the math and sciences. So I liked all of them except for physics. Physics I hated. But anatomy and biology, chemistry, um, trig, geometry, algebra, all of those.
Mm-hmm. For me, I loved history. So our elementary school, we came from a very wonderful teachers in elementary school
Yeah.
and some in high school too. But one that Miss Watts that really pushed, history. So that was definitely one. And then math. Like I love everything about algebra. Literally, that to me is what kind of made me also fall in love with design because it's a lot of very measurements and things kind of like looking even and still trying to find a way to be creative through that.
Mm-hmm.
Math and history for me.
I always wished I was better at math. It's not that.
Oh, Iris said she had a drama class. We didn't have drama. Did we have drama?
I think we did.
I think if you was wanting to be, yeah, we just didn't take to the arts like that. I mean, you did chorus, I did chorus and band, but
I've always wanted to go to a school in New York where they do a lot of the artsy type of classes.
A performing arts school.
Performing arts school.
They definitely had some productions at Proviso, though we just wasn't interested.
Mm-hmm.
Oh Yeller was the.
I don't know.
This is funny. I thought this was funny. Who would you want to be on your team if we had a zombie apocalypse?
Of who? Of us?
No, not we're the zombies. Like, okay, sure, of us. That's fair. Of us. Who would you have on your team? Would you pick me or Deanna and everybody around them?
I don't know. I think Shelly might cry.
A zombie apocalypse.
That's
so
I just can't do it. They're gonna eat us.
How was that? Iris said Bianca because when she get mad she can fight.
Facts. So I'm like, listen, at first I might panic, but then I'm like, nah, y'all ain't gonna kill me. Y'all ain't killing me. That's it.
Bianca.
Nah, I'm gonna have to figure out some strategy.
Okay, wait a minute. Carolyn said Idris Elba as my team member.
Well, Lord have mercy.
Like, forget about them zombies. Just give me the Idris.
I didn't know he was an option, so
right.
I might have
if we're talking about that, then I mean, sure.
Yeah.
Strategically, then I'm gonna have to pick Bianca too because Bianca can't fight. You gotta let me try to calm me down, and nobody has time for that.
Right, I was thinking. So, two things. The other was trying to calm me down, but I think Shelly might move a little faster. So I don't know who to pick. I'm like, I don't know. I'm kind of like,
you gotta pick. Everybody's picked. You have to.
You gotta like strategize. She'll be able to strategize the situation. Like, okay. Listen,
this is what we're gonna do.
This is what we're gonna do. But I feel like I would be the person running around doing all the things while she strategizes, so I'd be like tired.
And your answer is?
I don't know.
That's a pick. Come
on. Let's see.
We're picking and because this is never gonna happen, so we gotta have fun with it.
I think I might. I think I might pick.
It's okay, Bianca.
It's so hard, guys. I don't know who to pick.
I don't think I actually made a pick. I just said Shelly would cry.
Oh, really? Oh, Jesus Christ. Look, I'm fine with nobody wanting to be on my team.
No, it's not that I don't. It's like I know that. So Deanna will strategize. Me and you, once I shake you, we're gonna get to action, right? So it's like, do I pick the strategy person that will probably figure out a strategy, or do I pick the person that's gonna get to action, but we don't have a strategy? Okay. So that's what I'm left with. We'll have to figure that out. I don't know. Moving on.
Oh Lord. Last icebreaker. And Ira says sometimes she scares me when she gets mad.
Well, damn, that hurt my feelings.
What is your favorite family tradition? And ladies, Carol and Iris, we want to hear what your traditions are.
I would say for Christmas at home, we always open one present on Christmas Eve.
Savannah always asks, but I never let her.
I think that's so fun. Like, open one gift, it kind of brings that excitement. Like, oh my God, I can't wait until tomorrow. I always do one gift on Christmas Eve.
Maybe I'll let her next year. Tiana, you're muted.
Okay, sorry about that. I did do that this year. Normally I have not, but this year I did let Zoe open up something early. One, to kind of appease her because her dad wasn't home for Christmas. And two, I was just like, why not? It's just one gift.
Yeah.
But in years past, I had not opened one gift early, but I was just like, go for it. Whatever makes you happy, whatever floats your boat.
For me, it's definitely for a Christmassy. It's driving around looking at the Christmas lights. I love doing that. I just have such fun doing that with Savannah. But I'm making it a point to be like my house, to be like the house to see next year for Christmas.
There you go. Come on. So I said Sunday dinners. What you say?
I was just gonna say that I like just the gathering for family dinners, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. Yeah.
Iris said Sunday dinners when my mom and aunts were alive, and Carolyn said we do that too. So they open one gift on Christmas Eve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right then. Let's get into some talks about. You guys want to do the best man stuff next, or do you want to start recapping some of our shows? I feel like this could have been broken up.
Yeah. Let's recap a few shows. We can jump into the best man.
All right. So let's take it back to our very first episode. We were talking about, starting the podcast, letting people get to know us.
Yeah.
I think we're doing a good job of letting people kind of know, why you react to things the way that you do, why you feel the way you feel. I feel like it creates, sorry, COVID. It creates a better conversation amongst us too. Because I think Bianca, you were saying like you learn something new about us every time we have a show. For me, it does, but it also helps me to kind of understand why you guys do things that you do or say things that you say. Like, oh, okay, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Like it all comes together, yeah.
It definitely does.
Yeah, it does. That first episode, it was kind of like a get to know us episode, and
right. I think it's still one of the most loved shows, though.
It is.
Yeah.
I think we had over 1,100 views on that episode.
We do. That very first episode, if you want to learn more about us, our upbringing, where we come from, what we're trying to do together, that's a great episode.
Our fears and phobias.
Yeah, our fears and our phobias, for sure. And it's so funny. I was watching something, and they were Savannah sent me a TikTok. And the person was swimming with the dolphins. So the dolphins, it would be two dolphins. They would come behind the person and they would like push their feet ahead so they can glide in the water. And I would never do that. Like even just watching that video, scared me. It scared the hell out of me.
I don't think, well, two things. One, I don't want to be in that pool that the dolphins were in when we saw them. That being 20, 30 feet deep, that just sounds not fun at all. But two, I know that dolphins are rapists, and I just cannot get over that.
Here we go again.
I cannot get over it.
Right.
Is the thing that is true. You know, I always think that I'm pretty exceptional too, and I feel like, what if I just have the scent, the one scent, the rapist
No.
and they're like,
It's not like you'd be dealing with dolphins in the wild. These would be trained dolphins.
You never know. You never know.
You know,
the videos I've seen where a person got humped by a dolphin, they was like out in the ocean. The dolphin jumped up on the boat. These
look,
wasn't
I
like
don't know that. I don't have the research and the trained, not trained.
These are dolphins in captivity.
I don't know. I'm afraid.
Yeah,
No,
but
I don't know how to swim, but if I learned how to swim, I wouldn't mind swimming with the dolphins.
We should learn how to swim, and we should start planning our next trip because we took our trip after COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
It was 2021.
Yeah, I think we need to plan our trip for this year. Like, we need to get out here.
I'm with it.
Carolyn is asking. Go ahead, Bianca.
Carolyn, we are saying that dolphins are rapists. RAPIST. They like to hump humans.
I am not saying that.
Deanna vehemently denies that dolphins are rapists.
They rape.
There are videos out there. There are real videos.
My mom said I'm showing double.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's your Christmas tree behind you. It's giving.
Oh, okay.
The glare.
Yeah, it's blurry in the back. Sorry, Mom.
And it looks like one of your eyes are closed.
Oh, she all coming in here correcting stuff.
Now, are you rolling a clip from this episode or what?
I'm not. You know, I was gonna do that, but you know, COVID. I gotta blame everything on COVID. I was trying to get my energy back, my pep back up in my step. I should have, but I did not. So thank you.
No problem. I wasn't sure if we were over talking the time that you were planning to roll.
No. I was hoping that we all would. Yes.
Just turn off the Christmas tree.
Oh Lord Jesus. Okay, let me fix that because she got a thing. She tells me all the time when we wear something on our shirts, it's distracting. So please, nobody.
Sorry if I'm distracting.
All right, let me fix my camera, but let me answer the next question. Or ask the next question. Or we're recapping another show. Question: who has been you guys' favorite? Where is my gift, Lord Jesus? We're gonna get you your gift, Mom. Who has been your favorite guest thus far? And you have to answer.
Right.
Nobody's feelings are gonna be hurt. Just answer the damn question.
Oh, that's too hard to pick a favorite guest.
It's not too hard.
I wouldn't say favorite guest because all of our guests are our favorite, but I really enjoyed the talk with Lester, Mr. Real Talk, talking about relationships because that got a little turned up because I was like ready when he was like, I think it was I can't remember his comment specifically. But I was like, guys want women to wear heels, cook clean, do all the things, and they get to just sit around and, not, hairlines way in the back somewhere. Don't get a pedicure, don't keep themselves up, stained t-shirt, and we supposed to be, doing all these things. So that was very memorable for me.
Okay. What about you, Deanna?
Lester was definitely one of my favorites as well, but I don't know. I have to think about who's my favorite.
Okay,
like I said, I have several, but yeah, Lester's definitely one of the top picks. I would say.
Okay. And I Lester posted on our recap show, and I asked him to come back again. I think I think
Lester
Lester is
definitely.
dope. Lester is dope. My mom said Lawrence. Lawrence has been her favorite so far.
Okay.
For me, gosh, like Lester definitely, because Lester was our first like two-parter.
Mhm.
We have
Right.
to split that episode into two.
Yeah.
Um, I think he has. I'm just gonna go and say Lester too, because some things that he said in that episode, I still to this day can say, you know what, yeah, like what he said about people not asking for help. I found that to be like very just really profound. I thought, such an easy thing that people could kind of do. Um,
Mhm.
and it's one thing that people don't do often. So it's always good to ask for help. Carolyn says she enjoyed the meditation lady, Debbie.
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Really helped
Debbie.
relax.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
another one of my faves too.
Yeah, I've been trying to get back to that. I definitely need to schedule a class with her
Mm,
Mhm.
to get
yeah.
back to my meditation. That's something um, I'm going to figure out in the new year.
Yes, yes, yes. Deanna, did you say?
Oh, I said Lester was one of my
Oh,
faves. Yeah.
okay. All right. Now you got all of our other guests mad at us. I'm just messing with you. What has been your favorite episode? What
My favorite.
episode do you feel like?
I should have recapped. I should have watched the replays to figure it out beforehand.
Oh, Lord.
But
What
I
episode
mean,
would you say you remember, you go back to, you take
I
something from, you
I
learn
would say my favorite episode was our second book club episode. Um,
our Tanya's journey of forgiveness.
yes, that
Yeah.
one is
mhm,
hilarious. Looking back on it,
yes,
I probably have watched
that
that
is one of
episode
my
like
favorite.
5 times. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Taylor's Journey is one of my favorite episodes too. Even though we were, at odds on how we viewed the book or whatever,
Mhm.
it was still it was a good it was a good conversation starter. Or
Definitely. Definitely. Has anything changed since we had that conversation as far as like how you guys feel about the topic, or do you still feel like if we had that episode today, you would still feel the same?
I would still feel the same way.
I was
Yeah,
still standing on it.
me too. My mom said she liked our last show. It was really good, and I think that's also because she got a gift.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, we gotta give her.
Congratulations to our winners.
Yes, thank
Yes,
you too. Um,
Carolyn, you also have a gift coming. I don't know if I
yes,
told her this.
yes. We once we're done. I haven't touched anything. Like I haven't touched anything from our papa. I'm like, I need a couple more weeks to recover.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have had several businesses, small businesses. We highlight a small business every single episode. This particular episode, I don't think we set anybody aside to highlight. So we'll do Cafe Coco Latte. Visit us at
Yeah.
cafecocolate.com
Absolutely.
and order
Check
you
this
some
out.
coffee for our small business. But what's your most memorable small business?
Most memorable small business would be Iris Mac Accessories.
Mhm.
Okay.
She's currently selling right now. You can catch her on Facebook. She just posted a few jewelry sets for the jewelry lovers. Iris Mac Accessories.
Iris Mac Accessories. What about you, Deanna?
I needed a
Oh,
work. I don't know. Shoot. Um, uh, No. Um, Renee's financial services.
I think that was
Yes,
a good
And
one. That was a
yes,
good one.
definitely, definitely.
and Debbie's mindfulness. Yeah.
And Debbie's, yep, for sure. I don't know why Ruby's is
You know,
Ruby.
I thought about rubies. Yeah, I
Yeah,
did think about them.
they are out here doing things. Every time
Yeah.
they post a picture of some chicken wings or some catfish, I'm always like, Lord Jesus. I'm trying to get back onto my
Get
health.
their soul food together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
after COVID, I was like, I'm letting all that stuff go. But I think I need one last hurrah. I just wish they were closer, but I think
Yes.
they're worth the drive.
But I feel like they opened up a new location, So, a
Yeah.
show that we didn't mention, which I know is extremely impactful for us, was our show with the famous actress Yolanda Ross.
Oh
What
yeah.
impact did that show leave on you guys?
It definitely left the impact of and this is something, I learned from Deanna as well. Get a second opinion. Speak up for yourself. Get a second opinion. Don't be afraid to say, hey, this is what I need. This is what's going on. So I think it kind of catapulted me to be like, okay, you know what? It's time out for the games. Let me, figure out my health and get on top of those things. So,
Yeah, push back on the doctors for sure.
hmm
For me, and I think too, definitely Deanna has helped out with me in that episode with um pushing back on them. Like, you don't have all the answers, and it's okay to go ask another doctor. And it's amazing how many people don't get second opinions, and now you're just left with first opinion, and it could be the wrong move. Um,
Mm.
hmm
yes, definitely pushing back on the doctors, realizing that they are human just like we are. They miss their own doctor appointments. It's
Mm.
okay to ask questions and push back.
Yeah. And I think that show was really phenomenal for many reasons. Like we had that was the most guests we had at one time,
Mhm.
letting all the ladies share their stories. And, I learned things about them that I didn't know prior to the show as well, even though we're part of the same, community and share our experiences when we get together. You still, when you talk to somebody one on one, you learn more, more of their story.
Mhm.
And I hope that it was helpful for, folks who were viewing to empower them to take control of their own health and, to share information with others. Um, because we got to take care of each other.
Yep.
Definitely.
We absolutely have to take care of each other. What episode do you think has that was impactful yet didn't reach as many people as we would have hoped?
I think it was that financial episode with Renee.
Hmm.
I
Yeah, I think there's a few of them, but yeah, the financial episode is one. Yeah,
The
I think
Father's Day
the
episode.
Father's Day one is what I
oh
was going
yeah,
to
the
say.
Father's Day episode.
Yeah.
That one, I really thought that one would probably take off a little bit more, because unfortunately, when you look down the timeline, a lot of men don't get recognized for being great fathers. So I would have thought that this would be one of the episodes that people would tune into because it's
Mhm.
something different.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Three women with three different walks of life coming together to recognize not only their fathers but other fathers out there.
I think all, or if not all, many of the male guests that we've had on the show are all fathers or all father types or uncles. You know,
hmm
and I think we can do a better job at highlighting them more for that too. When they come on the show, because I think we kind of talk about what the topic is to talk about, but we've had some really great fathers on the show too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next year, our 2023 Father's Day episode, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know if it's because we ran it on Father's Day. People used to watch it on Thursday.
Yeah, that's
Um,
good too.
I don't know. We got to come up with some creative ways to promote the next one. But yeah, I think it's important and beneficial to celebrate fatherhood. So we'll
Absolutely.
do it again.
Absolutely. I love my daddy. I am a daddy's girl. My daddy is so funny. We send messages back and forth, maybe every other day. But he's always sending me some funny. Um, my mom thinks we need to do more to promote the show.
I saw that. I was like,
Oh, tell us how
Don't
you
worry, AC Karen, 2023, we're gonna step up our promotion
we
game.
are 2023. I think these I for sure. God set. Well, I'm gonna speak for myself. God set me down. He was like, "Yeah, sit on the sidelines for a little bit. You're doing a little bit too much, youngin. I'm gonna trip you. Sit down." And I needed this break mentally. I needed to not get up and design, even though I have been doing little small projects and stuff like that for people. I needed to get myself in a position where I wasn't for a while. Like, just don't do anything. Don't think about Cafe Coco Latte. It's still there. You guys are still strong. Take a break, because I feel like 2023 is about to be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like in a sense, we all needed this break maybe for what's coming up.
Right. Yeah. No harm, no foul.
No harm, no foul. Okay. There was one episode I wanted to ask you guys something about, but I forget. We had our bubble run show. Are we gonna be doing any more 5Ks?
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure that's definitely in our future.
It was warm outside today.
You know, it was
Look at
crazy.
this.
I went out. I had to run to the grocery store, and I was like, "It's kind of nice out here,"
Mhm.
But
It's crazy because we've been sub-zero. So now like 20 degrees feel like summertime because 20 below
right.
feels a lot less than. So yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys remember who our very first guest was?
G, Pastor G, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I was like, it was Greg, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I said it was Greg.
Your brother.
Yes, my brother, whose birthday was yesterday.
Happy
Happy I didn't know it was his birthday.
Yeah.
So now my mom is taking over the show.
I know. I'm like, we're being interviewed now.
What is y'all's next big step?
Big step. I hope it's our next big step would be to bring that brick and mortar space to fruition.
Yeah, I think it's gonna happen. Like, something is. I always get these thoughts. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's gonna happen sooner than later.
For sure.
I think at some point we'll be recording our podcast in our location, which to me is gonna be mind blowing. I feel like our grand opening is definitely going to be a lot of people.
Grandioso.
Yeah, I see a lot of people being there, a lot of family, a lot of friends. I think everybody wants to see us win, and that's a big part of what keeps us all going. Um, it definitely keeps me going when I know that we have a group of people behind us, definitely helping us get our doors open.
Yep.
For sure, and definitely
Teaching us what not to do. Yeah. But I see the cafe being our next big step, mama.
Couple other shows I think that were really good was like the manifestation show. I'm looking at the highlights in the background. Like, yeah, that was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, even the attitude of gratitude. I know it wasn't that long ago, but that was a good one.
That was a good one. I see Marcus up there too. Marcus Carter.
Marcus Carter.
I love the way Deanna says Marcus Carter. he was definitely an impactful guest, and I think we got some things coming up with him in 2023. Sharita and
Absolutely.
Pastor Courtney Henderson. They are like friends, Like if I don't hear from Courtney or Sharita, I'm like, what Courtney and Sharita? I'm like, I haven't heard from them. So it's just so amazing the people that we have all met along the way, and a lot of these people are family.
Yeah.
We have we're still, putting together our network, but we have a tight network of amazing people that are, that we are blessed to be connected with and stuck with for life. They stuck with us, whether they like it or not. I don't know.
Whether they like it or not. And we have
Well, they like it, but I'm just saying they stuck with us. Like
they did.
they can't unstuck. They can't be unstuck. Yeah.
They cannot. We got some major guests coming up for 2023. A lot of people, we've locked down already. We have we're gonna have our very first male author on the show. So I'm very excited about that one.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna be exciting. We've had a couple authors on already.
Yeah.
To have our first guy is definitely great. We definitely want to hear Miss perspective as well. So it'll be good to have that episode.
Yeah, and let us know in the comments if there's any show topic idea, yes, or personality that you would like to see, and we will make it happen in 2023.
We will make it happen in 2023. Sure. Go ahead, Mama. Type what you want to go type. And if you haven't already, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and share our video. We're at currently 323 subscribers. We've surpassed viewers, so our videos are getting a lot of views. So we appreciate everybody, because I know even the ladies who I know are here, Carolyn, Iris, my mom, you guys show up as often as you can. She just wrote a paragraph. You show up as often as you can. Sometimes when my mom's even at work on Thursday, I'll be like, can you please just watch? She always does. But we have surpassed, I think our videos are now up to 6,000 or over 6,000 views. We have a lot of watch hours, so people are definitely watching our videos. But ladies, as many people as you can get to subscribe to our channel as well. It helps us. Hopefully by this year we'll be 500 plus. We will be at 1,000 over. The podcast is all to help us get our cafe doors open. So definitely make sure that you ask people to subscribe. My mom said, I know what y'all can do, because that's how she's saying it. I know what y'all can do. Each one of you add 10 new views to the show, and everyone that you add to the show that you invited them, and ask 10 more people to get 10 people every time. You need to be a pastor at church, man, because that's what pastors be like. Bring 10 people, bring 10 guests. Mm-hmm. I definitely agree. Are you ladies still with us? Everybody's fading in the background.
No, I'm right here. I am still here.
Yeah, we're shooting the podcast.
I'm just really tired of coughing, and I'm trying to suppress it. So
sorry. All right, well, let's get to the last section of the show. I want to make sure that we do this, because I know over the holiday, when you're off, you're relaxing, everybody's watching something on Netflix or what is
Peacock this season.
What is it called?
It was on Peacock. The Best Man final chapters on Peacock. Yeah.
Yes. So I know everybody's watching all of that stuff, which I don't know. Did you watch The Best Man? Let me know in the comments. If you didn't, I know how you can watch it. Lord Jesus. Sorry. So what did you guys think? Did you get through all 8 episodes? I think it was 8 or 10.
I
I
did.
enjoyed it.
I have mixed feelings. I've been texting my sister the past few days. We've been going back and forth on some things, but
Well, let us know. Get us
it was
in.
really good. So it was a lot of. It's been a lot of chatter online, and the meme that I saw showed Robin and God, what is his name? I'm drawing a blank. What's Robin's husband name?
Robin's husband in the show.
Hey, Dig. I don't know what
Tay Diggs' character, whoever. So it was showing Tay Diggs and Robin, and it was like Tay Diggs, who people thought was the villain, and they said Robin was the villain. And I was like, I don't really agree with that. I really
Why was Robin the villain?
Before we get into it, we still gonna get into it. But explain that part, just in case somebody hasn't seen it.
So Tay Diggs' character, and we could go way back 20 years ago. He's always been about himself.
Harper.
Yes. Harper has always been about himself, how he can progress his career, what he has going on, and it always
what he want to do. Yeah, like
always caused drama between him and his friends, him and his wife, his family, whatever, because he's very laser focused on him and his needs. Now, in the end, he got offered a deal to turn his book, the original first book, into a movie, which she said, yes, you should definitely do it. Go tell your friends, let them know, you should definitely do this. But when in the hint of him pursuing it, she decided, you know what? You're not making time for me. I'm out. I'm moving to Africa. I'm moving to Ghana. Like, I'm out of here. Peace out. And that's that on that. And I'm taking our child with us.
And what's your thoughts on it? Why are you and Iris going back and forth?
No, it wasn't Iris. It was Kia.
Sorry,
So Kia says that Robin was bogus for taking the child away, which I can agree that's a bit much to go to a whole nother continent. That's a bit
my least favorite character. Sorry, Deanna, go ahead. I'll let you.
No, I was just saying, like, really, he was not. I mean, you could be a writer without being like away from your family for several months or whatever. He wasn't even at home anyway. So it's like whether she was in New York or Ghana, he's probably gonna see her the same amount of time, whether she was in New York or in Ghana. It's not like he's not a millionaire that can't travel, or it's not like he was spending all this time with his family and being a nurturing father anyway.
Let us know in the comments.
I think that's not right, though. I'm sorry.
Let us know in the comments what you think about that, because I want to make sure, I want to hear other people's opinion about this topic, because I definitely would say, for me, my least favorite character out of all of the characters is Robin. I think to take a child in, it's not like you're moving to a different state. I think if I would agree with you, Deanna, had it been like from New York to California, or New York still in the U.S., you know what I mean, and not a whole different country.
What's the big difference? Because I would see that if he was somebody that didn't have the means to go to Ghana. He's not somebody who can't go to Ghana.
Here's what I feel like is the difference. I think that back to, let's say, our Father's Day episode, I think that fathers are given this rap like, who cares? It's just Africa. Like, no, had my mom decided at a younger age for me, like, I'm gonna move to Africa, I would feel like, mom, like, but I would still have that same impact had it been my father. Like, I get it. You have these dreams. You want to do these things. But to uphaul your child all the way to another country, to me, I think that was pretty unfair. Like, if she had moved and said, hey, I'm going to do this for a year. Because remember, her character has always been somebody who was very wishy-washy. She was even wishy-washy.
I mean, you might not stay in Ghana forever. It might be a phase. But I think it would be, to me, it would be different if, one, he didn't have the means to come and see her in Ghana, or if they didn't have the means to bring her back to the U.S.
That's selfish.
For some men, if you live in New York and he live in California, that's the same thing because they don't have the means to go back and forth. Like unless you're in their local vicinity, they may not, be able to afford to travel. But for them, the travel piece, if they can afford it. Even when he was in the same country, he wasn't necessarily making them a priority
So
when
I have to go back to that. He
his
probably wasn't
priority
making his wife a priority, but he made
his daughter either. He was dictating what was happening with his daughter, but I don't think he was really like he didn't feel like he
so
had
Robin
to be
said he was a good
present.
father.
She said he was a good father, but I'm saying like when he jacked out on her for having the child out with the protests and she got arrested and all this stuff, he told her, "You better not have my child." This, and that. But like many men,
something happened.
No, but listen, like many men, the onus of where the child is placed and what the child is doing is put on the mom. He's not saying, "I'm going to make sure that she has proper child care for events such as this," or "I'm going to make sure that there's someone who can take care of her when we're doing whatever we're doing." It's like, it's your job to figure that piece out. I just know that you better not do blah, blah, blah. But he's not a type of parent that was like, he's not going to make sure. He don't feel like that's his responsibility.
I think you ran a little too much into that. I don't know if we were watching two different movies or episodes.
I'm just saying I think that might be
I think a lot of men, how all that happened. But I recall from what I watched, he was like, "I want to get this nice house in a nice neighborhood so my child can have the best."
So she could be protected because he felt like
I want to have my child be protected. I want to do all these things. I'm out here making the money to make sure that everybody has everything that they need and want. I'm not like.
Can I interrupt for just
is your presence not part of what we need and want?
I was going to say that next. But
provider
wants to say something.
Sorry, our viewers are extremely important. Carolyn said, "I agree not to take a child away that far from a dad to another country like that." Come on, Deanna.
But the father's presence. Deanna, let me say this. Deanna, let me say this real quick. The father's presence is important, and also I felt like he did have a good presence. It was the part where the daughter came downstairs in the morning looking for her dad. It to me implied that was their morning.
Yeah, and remember the part in the movie where she's crying in the car and she basically tells her don't cry. Like it's almost like she's forcing upon her daughter this wishy-washy attitude. Like don't feel like this because you don't.
Yeah, I don't think it was right to tell her not to cry because yes, she's gonna miss her dad.
So whatever you would feel the exact same way in this story had it been the mom. It had the roles been reversed. He was taking her to Africa.
If he was the custodial parent, like she was really the custodial parent anyway. Yes, he provided the money. He wanted them to be in an affluent neighborhood and make sure that she's in the best schools and all that. But I don't think that he was as invested in like being in her day-to-day presence.
Really?
Yeah, which I think that's the case. I think that's the case. So I mean, I think that's the case though with a lot of men. They do. I don't think he didn't love his daughter, but I think that when he, like you said earlier, he's laser focused. So when his focus is on doing whatever he's doing for writing, making the movie, writing the books, whatever, he in his mind knows that his wife or his then ex-wife is gonna do everything. He trusts that she can take care of their daughter, and that he can provide the means by which to do it. That he doesn't have to be a physical presence.
That's any partner. That could be said about me right now. If I had a child right now and I'm laser focused trying to get my business open, I'm gonna trust in my partner. Let me finish my statement, girl.
I'm gonna start muting people. Okay.
If right now I had a young child and I have a job, I'm in school, and I'm trying to get Cafe Coco Latte open, I'm here. I'm going to make sure our meals are prepared. I'm going to sit down and watch a movie with my kid, but also I'm doing these other things That doesn't mean I'm a bad parent and I don't care about my child, but I'm going to trust that my partner can hold us down while I'm taking care of these things to make sure we have a roof over our head and food to eat.
I would like to read a comment from one of our viewers. Carolyn, she could have opened her business in the, I'm sorry, she could have opened up her business in the States at another location. Harper was a good father and provided for them the best that he could. I definitely agree with that. And also remember, she didn't leave until he didn't call that person, the realtor, about getting the business. So she would have stayed. This goes back to her wishy-washy attitude. You don't to me, that's almost a form of you're putting your child through unnecessary trauma because you want to prove a point to the person that you no longer want to be with. I think people are selfish. I think she was extremely selfish, and I'm so glad that
I think he showed her how to be selfish.
Oh my God! So what did she? So
no, I don't think you should do anything out of spite or tit for tat. But just like he felt like his endeavors, his dreams, his
wishy-washiness was in the movie one. That's what his friends used to make.
I didn't say that she's not wishy-washy. I just said Ghana might be a phase. Who knows if she's gonna stay there forever? But I think that she has the same right to pursue whatever it is that she wants to pursue.
So we're gonna put our children through trauma because you're going through.
I don't think it doesn't have to be traumatic. I mean, I think the initial thought of leaving the country, yes, feels like, oh my God, I'm moving so many miles away. But if we looked at if for them, if we looked at the calendar year and see how many days he actually spent in their presence, because he was gone for months on end. He didn't even care that the furnace wasn't working at the daggone house. Why? Because he wasn't there to feel the cold. So if he could be that complacent, he didn't care enough to help her pursue what she wanted to do there. He kind of just blew it off. Then let's add up the number of days that you spent in the presence of your child. I'm not saying that you can't. They could have even did joint custody, whatever. She could live partially in Ghana and partially in the U.S. I mean, it's a flight. It's not like you gotta,
It's a 24-hour flight versus a 3-hour flight. If if he was in New York and the child was in Ohio, he could get there in a couple hours.
But he wasn't. He could, but he didn't. He could have, but he chose not to on the regular anyway. So what's the difference? If you spend, let's say, if it all adds up to 3 months.
I just want to ask you this: where did you gather that he was gone most of the year?
In there. Showing of him, he was gone. He wasn't there. Once
he was gone. He was gone.
So not only was he doing in addition to the movie, he was writing other books, and he felt like he needed to be in other places and spaces to do whatever writing.
I definitely missed that part. I know that there was from a time frame to a time frame. I think when they got back from the trip where they were and wherever they were, the sunny hot place, so when they came back to New York, a month maybe 2. And I feel like anybody who when I do get married, if my partner makes me feel like I'm trapped in a cage, I am going to feel like I'm trapped in a cage. People have the right to let me part. Me as a mom, if there was something that I had to do to go away for 2 months, it would probably be the worst 2 months of my life being away from my child. But it doesn't mean that I have to stop hoping and dreaming because I've now become a parent. But what I wouldn't do is take my child and move to a different
I would feel like I'm not taking her away from her. She said he could come to Ghana whenever he wants to, even when she just
you making that sound like that's a block away.
I said it would be different if it was like they didn't have the means to do that. Harper is a writer. He doesn't have to be in one particular place to write. He could go and spend some time in Ghana if he wants. Or he could bring the daughter back to New York, whatever.
So do you feel that she didn't spitefully do anything? Like she didn't make this move to Africa because he didn't call that realtor about
I mean that might have given her some go forward, but I think that she felt like she put
Okay, I'm
but,
sorry.
but
But if we're making decisions based off of you being upset, like to me, I feel like
I
that's the
said
worst emotion.
I did say you shouldn't do anything out of spite. But if it was like this, she really felt like, because she said she was interested in staying in St. Pierre. She seemed like she was looking to get out of the US. She felt like being somewhere where black culture was like the norm versus, being a part of a racist system or whatever was more of what she was like gearing towards. Even in when they weren't like talking about separating, she was like, we should stay here, or we should think about being here. So I think she was feeling like she wanted a change of scenery regardless, whether with him or without him. Yes, him being, kind of complacent to whatever it is that she wanted to do may have driven her to be like, you know what? She asked him to go to Ghana for a month, and he was like, so he kind of was like, he didn't want to do nothing she wanted to do. So, but no, I'm not saying that's a reason to do anything out of spite, but I think she went for that month, for that whatever, she was invited to be with that chef, and she enjoyed it, and she was like, yeah, I could see myself living here. And I think that it was within her rights to do that. Now, he could have continued on the path of either trying to get custody, or they could have did joint custody or whatever. But in the end, he chose not to cause a big rift with that. But again, I think too, he trusted that really it has been the custodial parent, and that she was going to continue to take good care of their child. But if he was somebody that didn't have the means maybe to travel back and forth, or to bring the little girl back and forth, then maybe I would feel somewhat different about it. But as a whole, I think that he could still have the same relationship that he had with his daughter at best, or he could choose to, spend more time.
I don't think they're gonna have the same relationship. I think him being so far away, at very best, he could FaceTime her, and he could probably travel there once a month if he has the means. That's not gonna have the same relationship he had with his daughter. Two, the real problem, because people keep saying that he didn't support her. When she was doing the subscriptions out of the house, and she had like 3,000 subscribers, he was like, hey, you need to get some help with this. Let's get you some help so you could continue on doing this. She said, no, I'm going to do it by myself. And then she gave that up. It's like you can only help somebody so much. I think her real problem was she never spoke up for herself. So now you done sat around for 20 years not speaking up for yourself. He sees a relationship one way, you see it another way, because you done sat there and haven't said nothing all this time. Now you want to be mad and pack up and go to Ghana. You should have talked up for yourself in the first place. You have created this environment,
even if we go with that,
you have made your bed. Now you must lie.
I gotta stay in it forever. So even if the onus was on me for not speaking up, if at some point I get fed up and say, you know what, I don't want to do this no more. I'm tired of being pushed to the background and everything being about you.
For yourself.
She did. She did. She left.
Yeah, but speaking up for yourself and leaving and totally changing.
That's two different things.
Yeah, that's not speaking up for yourself. That's being selfish as heck.
But has Harper not been selfish? I mean, he's been selfish always.
I'm sure she's been selfish. I'm sure that he's been selfish, but his selfishness didn't cause their child. It didn't include their child. She included her child in her.
I think it includes your child. When you do selfish things, it includes your child, whether you see it as a direct or indirect inclusion of the child. Because however the dynamic is between the parents is going to impact the child. So they don't have a good dynamic. So if anything, we're showing you how to be functionally dysfunctional. Two,
that's what she did. I agree.
So, I mean, what he did. It would be unfair to say that his selfishness didn't impact their child.
No, I think his selfishness didn't cause. I didn't see one scene where his selfishness caused the child to be in a corner crying because her father's leaving. Anytime a child goes into a predicament of their parent being taken away from them, that is trauma. That's trauma that people deal with from the time that they are if when she was however old she was until adulthood, you still have grown adults who have lost their parent, whether it be by um that parent passing or something more violently, that will ruin your child's entire life. A father being away for a month or two to help his family is not causing trauma for a child, which
Oh, yeah, it can
was
because a
direct.
child might not see it that way. Like, oh, he's away for a month or two because he's providing for us. Because they don't care about that. They care about your physical presence. So, yes, as much as your parent, your other parent, will tell them like, oh, dad or mom is just gone for this period of time because they're helping us make money or whatever. That a kid, even a lot of rich kids who parents be gone traveling, working, doing business, whatever, and they've been raised by nannies, be like they didn't really care about that stuff. They really wanted the physical interaction and the day-to-day conversation and
Yeah,
FaceTime,
that's true.
like
But what's
physical
also
presence.
true is there are a lot of children that did live that type of life, and now that they have become adults, they understand why their parent worked so hard. I don't think it caused trauma.
But
Yeah, while they
oh,
might have
yes,
wanted, while they might have wanted to be in their child's life, what she did to me was kidnapping. I'm sorry. It was like
Wow.
it was
I think
like
kidnapping is far, and I think
no, I
even if the initial thought of leaving was traumatic to the daughter, but how they handle it after that would make it whether it is really trauma or not, whether or not he does show up, whether or not they have a good co-parent relationship, and she travels back and forth and he travels back and forth and all that, whether or not they stay there permanently. All of those things will dictate how that is either traumatic or not traumatic. Like the event of divorce is traumatic.
Mhm.
That's the first trauma right there. The
Yeah.
parents are splitting up. The dynamic is changing. It's never going to be what it was, them living under the same house. So how they parent and how the time is spent, and even if it's not as much time as it would be if they were in the same country, the quality of the time that they spend together when they are together is what's going to dictate the level of trauma.
I think that I think if roles were reversed, this is a man taking his child to Africa and the mom was here, I think people would see it as kidnapping. I'm sorry. Whenever you pull a child away from their parent, to me, you don't do stuff like that.
I
So
don't look at it
I
as
think too, if we
kidnapping, but
examine
I
this
do.
to a lot of relationships that break up, even when the two people live in the same town, there's usually the non-custodial parent in a lot of instances tends to take advantage of being a non-custodial parent. Even when they have agreements in place, they don't necessarily always, get them every weekend that they're supposed to get them, and nobody's stopping them. Like there's no feud or anything, but it's easier for you to continue and do the things that you want to do when you don't have to be the one that's responsible for what's going on with kids. It's easy for you to say, you know what, this weekend I got to do X, Y, and Z, so I'm gonna let the kids stay with you.
I just want to say this. One, I didn't consider it kidnapping. However, I think it's very selfish parenting. And there's a lot of selfish parenting, putting their own needs in front of the children, not in front of the other co parent, because that doesn't really matter. It's putting your own needs in front of your child. Putting your need, I get it. Every parent deserves the right to be happy. You could be happy and find out ways to be happy while still allowing your child to be in their parents' life. I'll give an example, a personal example. I was away at school when I found out I was pregnant all the way in Baltimore. I made the decision, obviously, to come back because I had to be close to my family. But at some point, I wanted to go back to Baltimore. I didn't want to stay in Illinois at all. But I decided to stay here so my son could have somewhat of a relationship with his father, although that didn't quite happen the way I wanted it to play out. I made that decision so that if ever come a time my son say, hey, what happened, why didn't you allow my father to be here, why did this not happen, it's not on me, it's all about that parent. So to what you're saying, Deanna, yeah, there are co-parents that are a town away that are not in their child's life, but also taking a child to a whole nother country, a whole nother place, 24 hours away is a bit much. And Carolyn brought up a good point. she said that she doesn't agree. We don't agree. But what about the other two who got married and he found out his daughter was his after 10 years of not knowing? That's shady too.
Yeah, that was very shady. I don't know why she didn't tell him, since they was having this on and off again affair anyway. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I agree that was shady. I
Yeah.
think I think you should tell people who their parents are. Like,
That's
if you
that's
know, if
another
you don't
example.
know, you should get the DNA test or all that type of stuff. But yeah, I don't think you should withhold the information, especially in the case of them two that was sleeping together all the time.
Another example of selfish parenting. You're putting your feelings, your needs in front of your child. This
I
child has
don't think
locked
that
up.
was the same, but
It is. It could go in
not
that
the
same bucket.
same.
Selfish parenting.
I don't think like pursuing your career goals or dreams is selfish. One, I think it also could teach your
Right.
child.
Yeah.
It could teach your child to pursue whatever it is that they want to pursue. Like,
Absolutely.
I'm not saying that you don't have to be considerate. She didn't say never call us again. She didn't leave and not tell him where she was going. He still had access. She wasn't taking away his access. Yes, it was far away.
It
But
is.
like I said,
That's taking
for
away access to go to a whole nother country.
yeah, it's a whole nother country. But the
That's
flights
taking
go
away
back.
access.
No, it's not. If flights go back and forth to Ghana every day. I
He
mean,
was planning on moving down the street from them.
okay, whoopity doo dazzle. I plan to move not down the street from you. Like, yeah, if we do everything according to Harper's plan, Harper would have had Robin on one hand and what's the
Neil
what's
Long
the
character. Kendall.
yeah, Neil Long character on the other. He essentially would have two women too. Like,
What
and
does that have
probably
to
have
do with
them
the
living
price
down
of
the street.
eggs? What does that have to
Yeah,
do with
I
his
think I
child?
don't know. I think Deanna saw the B
Oh,
set.
I mean, he still was feeling Jordan. They was about to hook up when
What does that have to do with his child? Who he wants to sleep with has nothing to do
it has
with the
nothing to do with
parenting
his child.
relationship.
So yes, it does, because that was also going to be the downfall of his marriage. Like, so he's
Deanna,
not considerate of his family.
their marriage and their co-parents. You could be a co-parent and not want to be with the
So
person
that's
that
what I'm saying.
you
So
were
he doesn't
married
have
to.
to have any
So
gall about
because he
his.
wants to sleep with Kendall, he's a bad father?
No, okay, well, what is he showing about his commitment level? Like, if he, or it would be different too if he recognized within himself that the marriage wasn't working. It wasn't what he wanted. He wanted to be with Jordan. He was honest. He broke away from his wife. He started a new relationship with someone else. But he wouldn't have done that.
You
He
can
would have
say the
stayed
What does that
married.
have to do with his parenting?
you could say the same about both of them when it comes to infidelity, because she was hot on the guy who was doing
Yeah, yeah, she was
no,
playing with fire.
I think separate from the cheating and stuff. Not that I'm saying that, because I tend to agree with you a bit more on this, Deanna. I definitely think that cheating is a form of you're putting your selfishness of wanting to cheat on your partner, now screwing up the relationship, and now your child has to deal with the trauma of there being a possible divorce. Now here's my thing, and this is gonna be, I think we should move on from this.
Yeah,
There's so much more that happened in the movie, but I think that as a parent, and if as a parent and as a partner, it's just so important to be honest. If you don't want to be in the relationship, love me enough to be like, you know what, this ain't working out for me, so I want somebody else in my life. Here's what I would like to do. And if me moving to Africa is something that my partner has then expressed to me that would be a horrible thing for me, that would be a horrible thing for my child, then guess what, I absolutely would reconsider my thoughts on moving to a whole nother different country. If you are in a relationship, you have to be mature enough, which our next guest coming up soon, talk a little bit more about. You have to be mature enough to take yourself out of the picture and put the child first. Nobody should be making no big grand purchases and or movements without truly putting the child first. She did not put the child first. who cares who cheated? Who cares who didn't call the realtor to find out
I
about
don't
all
think
the
necessarily making a change of scenery or career move or country move or whatever means that you're not putting your child first. But also don't think that necessarily. Yeah, I just don't think that that means that you're not putting your child first. Putting yourself first,
Mhm.
it could also be a good thing for your child. Like
To a
I think
certain
it's a
degree.
good demonstration
I agree with
of
that to a certain degree.
because the child is going to grow up. They're going to have to see, they need to see a model of how to be an adult.
Mhm.
Yes, and to make adult decisions. I think they could have definitely talked about things and made things as a smooth transition as possible. So I'm not saying that everything that she did, the way she handled it, was the best way to do it. Like there probably should have been some time, some talking, some,
Same for him.
easier transition or whatever. But I don't think that it should have been like, no way you can leave the country because you're tied to this man because you have a child. Like that, I don't agree with. But I think that they could have did that better.
I think that before you were a parent, you were an individual.
Yeah.
Yes, you still have hopes, dreams, and things you want to accomplish. You should have some sense of still wanting to accomplish these things. Um, However, and it's great to show that to your child. However, you have to make those tweaks and adjustments. If you're so busy focusing on your dreams and what you want to do, and you, your kids are sitting on the couch, not don't even know who their parents are because you so busy doing all these things
Exactly.
that they
Yeah,
don't
I
even know
think it
who you
has
are.
to. It has. That's what I'm saying. I don't think she necessarily went about it the best way, but the fact, I don't think it's like no way. It's a hard stop. You can't leave the country because you have a child with a man who lives in this country. Like,
I think the only hard stop that I think
And I'm sorry.
only hard stop that I think that it should be is if you're not sitting down and having a mature conversation to say, "Hey, look, this is what I'm about to do. Hey, what
Exactly.
do you think? What do you think we should do? Do you think
And
you're
she
okay
didn't do
with
that.
that? Because you do have a responsibility, even if you're not with that person. When you share a child with them, you do have that responsibility to do things. There's been plenty of conversations that I had that I didn't think that I needed to have, but rightfully so. That's my child's father. You have
yeah,
those conversations.
yeah, I'm not saying
Yeah,
that
he
don't
probably
have
didn't
a
deserve.
conversation
Yeah,
and
he
don't
probably
make.
didn't deserve the conversation, but guess who did deserve it? My
Yeah,
child.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's why I said the transition could have been better, but I don't. I just didn't agree with the like you can't leave the country type
Okay.
thing. Like,
All right. So we're gonna agree to disagree on that a little bit. We kind of
yeah.
came somewhere. We met in the semi middle. All right.
Mhm.
So another topic, another group of individuals. Julian Murch.
Mhm.
Yes. So he was definitely being pulled by Shelby's character. What did you guys think of how their whole thing turned out in the
Who?
end? Murch and Shelby.
Shelby?
Shelby, who ended up with Quentin.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
The fact that he became the fighter and his whole dealings with being a strong man. What were your thoughts on that?
Well, I
I
didn't
think
think
that
too
was
much about him and Shelby, though. I mean,
Okay, well,
that.
Shelby separate. The character Murch, him becoming the fighter, and then what do you think? Because I say Shelby because Shelby was a big part of why he felt like he was a man. I think also
mm,
why he did the fighting, the fact that his
Yeah.
character was in the movie being pulled around. What do you think about that situation?
That was definitely a journey for him. I think that in the very first movie, before these chronicles, he definitely struggled with. He wanted to assert himself, and toward the end of that movie, he figured it out. Like, hey, I'm gonna put my foot down. And then when Harper did the movie, him seeing himself on the screen, that was a trigger for him because he just had that whole incident with the taxi cab and the white lady. So he started to realize he had all this built up anger because he's always suppressing and trying to do the right thing and be the nice guy and being a nice guy. Like I don't believe like not that I don't believe in being nice, but it's like nice for what? If you feel a way, say it. You know what I mean? Like, get it off your
Anger
chest.
came out in a different way because he was killing people almost in those fights.
Well,
Um,
yeah, I think that just gave him a sense of freedom to express, getting those things out of him.
mhm.
Because in
It
his
was
everyday
shocking for
life,
me. I would have never saw that for him.
yeah, his everyday life, he was like so much of a pushover.
Yeah.
Um,
I like merch.
yeah.
Nia Long's character, Jordan. What are your thoughts about how she handled things? What do you think about her still loving Harper? Why do you think she didn't end up with that guy? I thought she was gonna end up with a guy, and they never told us, or did they, what he whispered in her ear. But I
No.
wanted her to get with the fine
Yeah,
guy.
I was mad at the writers for that because I'm like, why couldn't she be with the guy from St. Pierre versus the guy from New York? Like,
Oh yeah, like
Oh yeah.
that whole thing made me so. I'm like, what are we
yeah,
doing?
Demetrius or whatever. I didn't like him at all. Wait, he's not even cute. Like, why they couldn't hook her up?
He
Like,
was all right. He wasn't bad. Um,
Remember, he had his
yeah,
whole like
yeah.
ring going on with the prison system, and
no, I'm just saying about his looks. Just
I
oh,
the
don't like
looks
his
only.
look either. Like in
I
comparison,
really
the
did
guy
want
on the
her.
beach versus the guy Demetrius was like, come on.
the
Yeah,
guy on
I
the
was gonna say I definitely like the guy on the beach for her,
beach.
but I was disappointed in her. I was kind of disappointed in her.
Why?
I felt like she, again, her and Harper are very much.
Carolyn said, "I thought she was going to end up with chocolate too." Me too, Carolyn. I was like, "Come on,
Her and Harper are very much similar. They're very about themselves people. Although
I think more people need to be.
to a certain degree, to a certain degree, because this is what I thought was messed up. Even after the first movie, after they went through what they went through, and she almost slept with Harper, even though she knew he was with Robin, you are willing to do it again 20 years later, girl? What?
No,
You
he
know this man
married.
got
No,
a
he got
whole
a
wife.
child. Mm-hmm.
You know this man got a whole child, and you willing to do it again based off yourself.
And when she saw Robin the day after or whatever, she was like, "Hey, girl," like nothing happened.
Like
Means
nothing happened.
you are a shark. You
I was
are
so disappointed in her because it's
you're a
like,
backstab.
girl, you
Like
you sit around in this lady face,
right,
and
like
you're
we
gonna do
friends.
this.
You treat me like we friends, and all the while, I
You've
still
been
got.
plotting. So in my head, if I were Robin, I'd be like, so whole time you've been plotting. I
Mm-hmm,
thought we was
mm-hmm.
cool. You've been plotting whole time. So
Yeah,
now I
yeah,
think shade
yeah.
is
I'm like Robin did good. She just didn't speak to her, but don't even, don't, don't pretend like.
yeah,
She was
she would have
definitely
catch one.
definitely wrong. The reason why I say I think more people needs to be a little bit more selfish is because look, like we only have one life to live. I
Right.
definitely have a soft spot when it comes to like children and making big moves. But I feel like if you're a single person and you don't have children, like to me, that's the best time
So
to
sleep with somebody's husband?
I said to be selfish. Never said to sleep with somebody.
I'm like, wait.
Don't get
So I
Exactly.
think
no,
that
let me get that out because I want to make sure. I want to be clear. I don't agree with nobody messing around with nobody, man. Don't mess around with nobody, man. But my thing is to be selfish. That's totally fine. Like I have no problem with nobody standing up and being like, I want to do this. I want to be by myself. I don't want to be with nobody else. I want to concentrate on my career. I want to
Oh
make
yeah.
all that stuff
I
is
agree with
fine.
that.
I think it's okay to
before I
be.
finish,
Yeah.
the cheating on the husband thing though, yes, I think that was definitely wrong. Now, because I don't like the Robin's character, I do tend to lean a bit on the side of she was trying to mess around with the other man. But I'm not saying that that's an excuse to do for Nia Long's character to do what she did to her thing. But I definitely feel like it's okay to be selfish.
Yeah.
To an extent, yes, but not when it's hurtful or harmful to other people. Like
Yes.
in that capacity, like I'm not going to be smiling up in your face or knowing that I was just about to slip
All
off
the time
the
they want to
horse
take your place, the back.
and be like, "Hey, girl," she, "Hey, girl," Robin, like nothing happened.
She did.
So
Yeah.
I would feel like you're slimy.
Yeah, you definitely are slimy. Don't
But
mess
as far
around
as
with
her
me,
being
man.
a career focused person or saying that she didn't want to have kids, that type of stuff. If that's what you want to pursue,
You lost
um,
Bianca.
we lost Bianca. Come back,
She'll be
Bianca.
back. Come back,
But
Bianca.
yeah, that type of stuff I think is fine. But then it was like she was kind of regretting not having a child when she thought she was pregnant and turned out not to be
Yeah,
pregnant. Um,
absolutely. Absolutely. I
so
think
I think that happens too. Like some people who are career focused, or even women who say they don't want to have kids, maybe for a season in their life they don't want to have kids, but then they later regret it, or maybe sometimes too it's a defense mechanism if they have had issues with fertility or whatever. They say, I don't want kids anyway. But I think that it's okay to also change your mind, like at
absolutely.
some point you may have thought that you didn't want kids, or that you wanted to pursue one career path or whatever, and then
Yeah. I
you
know that's
evolve
part
and
that
change.
I'm talking about Bianca, like she's here, but she always says that, like, it's okay to change your mind. Maybe you felt one way one day and now you feel another way, but that cannot be to harm somebody else.
Others, yeah, as long as it's not harmful, like
Okay, I'm gonna save the big question for when Bianca comes
she
back.
says, sorry, having issues.
What did she text you?
She put it in the private chat.
Oh, okay. Well, this is a great episode so far.
It's getting a little rapey. Yeah.
I definitely think that we got a lot to talk about in 2023. I think, like always, I at first I think when we were having our podcast shows to begin with, I would feel like, oh my god, they don't agree with me. They think something else, and da 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 da. And through this process, I have come to learn, like, if you feel a certain way about a certain thing, stand on what you feel about. Nobody hates you for, for thinking a certain way. Stand
Yeah,
on
I
what you
mean, we
feel.
spend a lot of time together, but we not clones. We got
We are not
different
clones.
opinions.
Yeah. So if you watching any episode of What's Brewing Sis, just know we gonna state our opinion.
Yeah. And we don't always agree.
And
We
we
tend
definitely do not
we
always
tend to
But I
not
think what's so cool is that we could also show people that even though we don't agree, we still we ride or die. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. And it provides balance.
It absolutely does.
We can't agree on all things at all
We
times.
cannot agree on all things. All right, so I think that our friend is coming back, but maybe not so soon. Oh, there she goes.
You back?
I'm back, guys.
You're back.
So sorry. Somebody called and I thought my phone was on Do Not Disturb and it kicked me out of StreamYard. So
Where you are back at a great time. We were singing your praises and just letting everybody know, like, look, we don't agree on a lot of stuff. But we are definitely, best friends, and I think, in a weird way, it's also helping too. Like for me, I was explaining to Deanna that I sometimes feel like if I feel a certain way about something, it doesn't mean that just because you guys disagree that y'all hate me or something. Like, no, everybody is not gonna agree all the time, and arguments may pursue, and everybody might be snippety, but look, stand on what you want to stand on, and I'm always gonna stand on what I want.
I stay standing on what I believe.
Yeah.
And yes, I love it. We don't always agree.
Yeah.
So true. So another big part of the movie and the show was the whole
LJ.
horse, huh?
I said LJ.
No, OJ.
LJ.
LJ is. Oh no, I'm not there yet. I'm not there.
Okay, go.
What Let's do that first, because the other one is, to me, is the bigger thing. So LJ, what do you guys think about that? What's your thoughts?
I think it's tough being a parent in this new this new.
Whatever it is.
Let us know what you think too, Carol.
I think it was. I could understand Morris Chestnut's character. I get it. You're this football player, and you're the epitome of masculinity and strength, and blah blah blah. Your son is playing football. You want him to do the same thing you're doing, and then you find high heels in his bedroom. That's a bit much. I at some point though, as a parent, I think you kind of have to, I don't know, it's tough. I think at some point as a parent, I would rather not see my child kill themselves. So I would have to be like, look, at the end of the day, their bell is rung and they got to have that conversation with God, that's between them and God. But I have to love my child.
And
I
he got there. He got there.
Yeah.
I think too, probably the way that he found out was jarring. He walked
Yeah,
through.
that was ridiculous and child.
So maybe if the conversation had been had in just him and his dad in a different setting, he maybe would have got there sooner. But
Yeah.
having it like just seeing a TikTok, was it a TikTok?
Yeah, I think
it was
or Instagram or something like that, or a reel. But yeah, I think that this is a conversation that I've had with Savannah, and we talk about it often because I think kids now are definitely more experimental. They don't really know. They're pressured with social media and stuff like that. I think that if you do though have a open and honest conversation with your kids, they may not have an issue with coming to you to say, hey, this is how I feel, this is how I think that I want to live my life. I think I kind of teeter a little bit when it comes to like a child making a decision to have like a sex change. I think that to me is just, kids, when I think of myself back when I was 13 years old, would I have been ready to make a decision like that? Or would it have been like a phase that I'm going through? But I think it's very important to have a open, honest conversation with your kids when it comes to sex. Like it's gonna happen. It shouldn't be a hidden thing. Sometimes it could be the worst conversation that you have to sit and have with your kids, but
It shouldn't be the worst conversation.
It shouldn't be. But I think a lot of people shy away from it because it does have a sexual nature to it, to the conversation.
Yeah. I think it's a tough conversation to have. I think as parents, when you're laying in a hospital bed and they hand you this baby and you're sitting there with it, you're thinking of, how I'm going to just be the best parent to this child that I could possibly be. And, at some point you start dreaming of the day that they'll have their own family and get married and be successful. I want my kids to be more successful than me, and all of these things. You start projecting all of the things that you want for your child to your child. But I think it's definitely tough with situations like that because it's like that's not something that was part of the parents' plan. So when it comes up, it could definitely be jarring for a parent to deal with. And I think that sometimes kids need to give their parents a little grace, like give them a little time to figure it out. You've had years to figure this out. The parent is just now getting a split second, and you want them to just jump on the board. Yeah. Give them a moment to talk through it with them. Understand that their initial reaction may be terrifying, but that's their honest reaction. They need time to work through it and to understand it and to try to adjust to this new life that you're leading now, because that's definitely scary. For as much as scary for a person going through it, it's scary for the parent too, because they worry about their child and what they're going to face and how mean the world is going to be to them. And all these different things. It's a lot.
I think that's the biggest thing. I think that's the fear and oh my God, what's going to happen to my child because of the situation. Sometimes it's not even that big of a deal to some people. They're like, oh, I thought it, or I thought that this could be. It's more so, what is the world gonna attempt to do to my child?
Yep.
So
Mhm.
yeah. But I'm glad that they were able to work it out, and everybody to come to this understanding that life still goes on, just because
Mhm.
I love a person. Carolyn said, oh my God, LJ, that was a bit much. Should have had a talk with his dad instead of putting it out like that on social media for everyone to know before his own father.
I agree.
Yeah.
Like all of his father's friends knew, you know,
Mm-hmm.
all
He was
everybody
doing
on
last
social
for him.
media knew
Yeah.
before him. That would hurt my feeling as a parent
Yeah.
that she went and told
Absolutely.
everybody else except for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that 100%. Okay. Have I asked something that you guys want to ask about the movie?
You
I'm
said it
saving
was
the.
something that you still
Okay,
had.
let me do it now, and then you guys tell me if I missed anything. Because the big story for me was the Lance and Mia story. How do you feel? Not I'm not asking. Do you think that Mia got what she deserved? I'm asking more so. Do you think that that was what the movie was attempting to portray? How do you think about Lance doing all his, sexting and then ended up with the lady? And then what do you think as far as Harper's intertwine in their relationship? Do you think that Mia was wrong and or right? I Another thing, I saw this poll that was taken about this specific question about their dynamic. And it basically said that men said more so that Mia shouldn't have done what she did because it was his best friend, and women were kind of 50-50. What do you guys think?
I think wrong is wrong. So although Lance was wrong and had a lot of affairs or slept around with her a lot, yeah, I think it was wrong that she slept with his best friend, regardless of all the infidelity that he did or whatever. And it was before they got married. So they both were, I guess wrong in a sense. But yeah, I think it was wrong of her to sleep with his best friend. If she had just chose to sleep with just any random person, um, and I guess if she was saying that she was in this committed relationship, it still would have been wrong, but maybe it wouldn't be viewed as egregious because he was sleeping around too, and they were young. So I do think you get some, grace for being young. Um, but yeah, wrong is wrong. I don't think she was right for sleeping with Harper.
I think she was wrong for sleeping with Harper because only because he was Lance's friend. Um, and that's the only thing I think she was wrong about. I don't think that two wrongs make a right. But here's the thing about men: they could, you know,
Ditch it, but can't take
they
it.
could hoe around town, but the minute a woman texts another man back, they gonna
She's a
fall
whore.
out and have a heart attack.
Mhm.
Boo. Listen, you didn't did your thing. She did. She had one indiscretion, and now you want to have a nervous breakdown.
Right.
Now, the thing that I thought was wrong about her indiscretion is because it was Harper, and
Yeah.
she planned it out. She told Lance, "Hey, I planned this out. I picked him. I knew I was picking him, and I did it. Boom."
So that's some people say a man might cut, but a woman can cut deeper because they you
Okay.
know yeah
Mm-hmm.
sometimes yeah, I didn't like it when I said it in the other episode, but I mean a woman
That's
can
what
really be a plotter like I was previously going to be methodical and calculated. That's a real thing. Like sometimes people really do think about, every step of the way, every intricate detail of what they're doing. So it
Yeah.
wasn't like, oh, it just happened type of thing. Like, no, this was premeditated. It was fully calculated. I knew exactly the impact that it could have if brought to light. So yeah, all of that went into what I was doing. So I'm not confused at all about how this could be earth shattering for you in the male ego. And yeah, still did it. So for that, is wrong. You know.
I don't think we disagreed that women or men, for that matter,
Men
can
are
be plotting.
calculated too. I think people are calculated.
Yeah, people are. It wasn't that we were
I
saying
don't,
that.
I don't think men do it as often. I think,
I
you
don't.
know, a lot of times.
That's what we're gonna disagree with.
Yeah, that's what we
No, no, I'm saying I don't think they are as methodical and calculated. Sometimes
That's
they're
what we're gonna
methodical,
disagree.
political. All the
no. I'm just saying they tend to be a little bit more sloppy. They don't necessarily plan out every detail to a T. They just, they may be a little more impulsive or um just not as vindictive sometimes. Like what they're doing it because they enjoy it. They saw somebody, they like the way she looked, whatever. They say men are visual. I don't think they necessarily hold some of the vindictive nature that some women do.
I
In
think
the
people are
things that they
people.
do. So no, people are people, but I think
Mom is wrong. So I think people do
sometimes
wrong
when
things.
men are sleeping with women, they're not doing it to spite the woman that they're with. They're doing it because they're
Nah,
I think
nah, they be doing it.
I
They
think
be
they're
slacking.
unhappy and they do it and they cheat. I think women are
yeah. No, I think a lot of times for women it's a bit more emotional. It's not as just like
Not
not
that.
all the time.
Not
Not
that.
all the time. But I didn't say all the time, but I'm saying like in the case of Mia, she was dealing with a man she knew was sleeping with other women. She knew had hurt her several times. And so it was like when she did her dirt, it's like, yeah, even though you've been with all these other women, this one shot, this one guy, this one particular guy is gonna overshadow the fact that you probably just slept with 50 different women because you probably don't even remember half of their names.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not invested in them in no type way. But this person right here is gonna hurt you at your core versus those women that you can't even remember their names. Like it's a different dynamic. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I think that
Take it for what it's worth, but I just say,
I think
like,
men,
I just say
I
all
think
the
men be
time in
out here
every instance.
plotting. I think men be out here plotting. I think men be out here being emotional too. But I also agree with women. I do it too. Had you explained this story back to me, I would have said, was it a man or was it a woman? Like, I think people are people and they do things that are not right. I being one of them. I've done things that have been wrong. I've never slept with my anybody's best friend. Like I would never do that. To me, that is like the worst thing that she could have done. But I definitely wouldn't
Maybe
give
not.
him any grace. I don't think I would
Maybe
have ever
not.
given him any grace. Not for sure what you just said. It was on YouTube. I know.
Okay, I don't know if that's the worst thing she could have done, but
Okay. So, see. I think that Deanna made me forget what I was gonna say. But yeah, I think people do shitty shit, man. I think people do shitty shit
And that's that on
and
there. People do shitty shit.
people do shitty shit and that's just the thing. But
Yeah, I mean, it
what you can
definitely
do
was.
to avoid all of this stuff is if somebody is doing you wrong, speak up, say something, talk about it. Don't you ain't gotta do the tit for tat. You can live your life and be so much more happier if you just look, take what they did and decide if you want to stay there and continue to
I
But
mean, I
she
guess
did
that
though.
was,
She
yeah,
tried to
she
break up with
said,
him, and he came to Harper crying like she tried to relieve me and blah blah blah. And he got on his knees and prayed and all that old silly stuff, but still went on acting a fool.
So do
So
you guys think that had well I guess he did
so I
had
don't think she got what she deserved, though. That was a part of your initial question. I don't think like
yes,
that was
but
her
it was prefaced
punishment.
with
No.
the movie making it that way. I knew I had to say that. So do you think that that's what the movie was trying to say? Not that
I didn't think that. I didn't think that this was like her consequence. But
I kind of think that he did make that the consequence. Oh, that movie, that particular holiday movie, I was in tears. I was.
Girl, I watched that again on Christmas. I was in there crying like.
Yes,
No, I didn't cry on that movie.
That's right.
No, I'm saying you be trying to think I'm a crybaby these days, but I didn't cry on that movie.
I'm not surprised you didn't cry, baby. I'm not surprised you didn't cry. For some reason, that part in that movie, on that part, just made me feel so sad because I know that the movie was written by a male. So I thought, was he trying to portray that she kind of got what she deserved, because she died, her character died.
No, because it hurt him too.
Oh yeah, definitely, and it hurt me. The watcher of the
I hope that's not what the writer was trying to portray. I didn't take that. I
hope not. I hope not.
And sometimes it when you lose that person, I think Lance also may have had some self-reflection of, damn, I was out here being stupid all these years, and now I done lost the woman that I really love. Mm-hmm. And then he got right back into the streets, you know.
But it didn't fill him up, He still he was trying to fill a void that definitely wasn't going to be the way to do it.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why Carolyn didn't like the new lady for Lance. I liked her. She reminded me a little bit of Mia. Yeah. I think that's why he liked her too.
Mm-hmm. I do too. Like, she was always there when she needed to be. It wasn't about the,
Yeah, she was. She wasn't trying to just be in his face because he was Lance, the football player.
For sure.
And she had a calming nature.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which I think Mia had. So I think that's what
he needs that because he kind of spastic.
Mm-hmm. All right. So the last question, but it's kind of not a question. Did I not ask a question about the movie that you guys would have asked? Did I miss it?
Only thing I would probably say, and I'm like, I know we're getting long. It's like over 2 hours. So
that's the longest podcast it should be. It's that
I know. It's a recap. So, okay. So I didn't necessarily like how they had Shelby's character kind of like over the top, groveling over Q. In the end, he did get on his knees for her too, but yeah, it was like, I don't know. I didn't necessarily
being like just a.
That didn't bother me.
I tend to like that kind of stuff because I'm like, I don't know. I felt like, I've held on to these beliefs. I'm going to kind of dog walk men and I'm going to make them feel this certain kind of way. And like, I really do love this person. And it took for this to happen in order for me to kind of realize that. Not that I think what she did was right or she did it the correct way. But I don't know. I just felt like, wow, that to me is what she needed to see in order to know, like, I really do love this person. And I think it kind of helped him, when he was going through his health issues, that it was her, as opposed to him marrying somebody that he really wasn't marrying for but he was marrying for her ego.
I think because Shelby is an over the top person, that was like on course for her. Like, she's over the top. So this was just very on course for her. So I wasn't.
But I just wonder if it had been reversed, would he have done all that to get her? Like, would he have?
I mean, what you said about women. Women are more emotional. Women are more that way. I don't think so. I think men tend to be I'm not gonna say nothing. I just lost the girl. I don't think that he would have acted the way she.
Well, he did run to the airport.
He did run to the airport.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if he would have imposed on the first, in the first place. Like if he would have showed up and all that, maybe he would have. But it was almost a little too.
Carolyn, I love Carolyn. She always. And anybody else who's here, because I see a couple people are here. Let us know. We're still here, guys. We're doing the recap show, the best man show.
Recap of 2022.
Yes, a lot to talk about. What about you? there a question I didn't ask?
What did y'all feel about the assault with the teacher?
Oh my God. Good point. What do you think, Nana?
Oh, I was thinking that was gonna happen. I felt like that was coming.
Oh, okay.
I actually
So it
didn't
kind of
expect that.
I,
I
it,
really,
it, it was kind of predictable to me, but I kind of feel like I wish they didn't add that element to it because it's like kind of perpetuates like every person that's deemed to be like this great person is really not that great. Like, like they say, all the black male icons, they trying to tear them down. They all got scandals of some sort. So I would have liked for Dr. Temple to just be a good, respectable professor and not do that. But I wasn't surprised.
yeah. Did y'all think that hey Carol, did y'all
I
think
didn't answer that question.
oh I'm sorry, go ahead.
What was the question?
What did y'all think about the sexual assault with the professor?
I think he was so stank. I think he took an opportunity and just was stank with it. I like what they did by showing the kind of Me Too movement,
Yeah.
the mentioning of George Floyd and stuff like that, just to kind of show what's going on. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely think that some men, not all, use their power, to their advantage. I also think some women do too. Use their power and take advantage of other people while doing it. But I was so hurt for her, and I hate to see people in those uncomfortable situations because that is a situation that I was in before, and it's scary. Like, it's absolutely scary. You trust somebody, and now this person is totally taking advantage of you. That sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think unfortunately we've probably all been in those like uncomfortable situations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I kind of didn't expect that for some reason. I don't know. I
didn't either. I didn't see it
I
coming.
did. I felt like from the day she said, "Oh, I've been accepted into Professor Temple's class or whatever," for some reason I was like, "Oh, he gonna be a creep."
Professor.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then did y'all expect Jordan to quit her job in the end? She's been this go-getter, this I have to climb this ladder person her whole life, and then she quits.
I did not see that one coming because, like, I don't know, I feel like if you got a dream, you got a goal, and you're successful in doing it, it's something that you enjoy, then keep doing it. But I think for her, she started to feel like life was passing her by, and that was her reasoning for quit. So I was more so happy that she did it, but I wish she didn't have to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think they was trying to show her uh, as evolving, Yeah, she really had that that had been her thing for the longest, that she just wanted to climb the ladder or whatever. But then, like, I think thinking she was pregnant and then realizing she wasn't, started to uh, put things in a new perspective. And even before that, she kept saying that she wanted to focus on self-care and stuff, but she really wasn't doing it. And maybe, yeah, she just came to the realization that she needs to.
Carolyn was snoring. Yeah, you got to go back and watch it.
Yeah, there were some
I think that,
there were some parts where I was like, why did they write this in? I didn't.
You know what? I kind of I felt like I expected this because a lot of times people, I'm not just gonna say women, but people are so laser focused on climbing this corporate ladder, and I got to get to the next tier and to the next tier and to the next tier, that you realize that life has passed you by. Yes, you may be successful, but life has passed you by. And even her assistant was like, no offense, but you suck at self care. She's sitting there with these blinding headaches. She's literally going blind, but she won't go to the doctor because I got to get to this next meeting. I have to get to this next thing. I have to do this. I have to do that. And it's like, you're going to die sitting at this desk. because you're not going to the doctor and you're not taking care of yourself and you're only focused on achieving the next goal. Well, you can't do it there. So, at some point you have to put your self care at the top of the ladder of all the things that you're climbing. So I kind of felt like I started to see it coming when she's sitting around and see everybody with their families and she's just sitting there and everybody is married or got somebody and she's just sitting there. It's kind of like, well, what do you have to show for all of this?
Mm-hmm. Totally agree with that. Yep, I think that when you focus on where I'm guilty of that, like literally, I started a job and I looked up and it was 20 years later. And the going blind situation, I mean, that was my situation. Like I worked myself because I felt like that was what I had to do. Until you look up and you realize, dang, Lord, life, married, everybody's doing all these things. So in the next year and starting now, because I'm like, I don't want to keep saying in 2023 I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z. Starting now, like it's all about me. Like it's all about Savannah, but it can all be about Shelly too. So like if there's something going on and I don't like it, I'm talking up. If there's a situation that I don't want to be in, I'm not running from it. I'll have the conversation first. But yes, it is so important to love yourself and put yourself in a situation where you do come first. And there is nothing wrong with that. But yeah, don't let your life pass you by because of a job. Like, don't do that.
I think it was a lot of nuggets in this movie like that. Very much of the speak up, put yourself first, but also have that balance, and choose love, at the end of the day. So all of these things were little nuggets in that movie to sum it up.
Okay. All right, ladies. I think this was I think that was an excellent note to end on. I enjoyed this episode. Our recap. I love seeing all of the. I'm gonna take us down for a second.
Oh.
So they couldn't hear me.
No, when you're backstage, people can't hear you.
Okay, well, I absolutely love seeing all of the images of the shows that we have done. It is something to me today. From my perspective, and if everybody can kind of end on a note of what you've learned, what you know for sure. I'm copying another podcast that I love. But what do you know for sure going into next year? What did you learn in this year? So what do you know for sure going into next year, and what was the biggest lesson learned this year?
Oh, that's a good one. Now I gotta sit here and be like, wait, what did I learn
I
this year?
I know what I know for sure, but what did I learn? I feel like I learned a lot. Uh,
You guys want me to take it first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay, I have not thought this out. What do I know for sure? I know for sure that I am dope, that I am a commodity to any team that I'm a part of, that I have a voice. Because I think I've said on past episodes, I felt like I didn't have a voice, not with us, but in situations in life. But I know for sure that I do. Biggest lesson learned this year is that it's okay to have your opinion, stand on it, maybe have some research to back it up, and let that be it. What y'all got?
All right, so what I learned this year is that
Carolyn, we want to know your answer too, and anybody else.
I don't know what I learned this year. I learned that self care is important. I learned that although I think I've come a long way with patience, I still have some ways to go. I think that I learned that it's okay to put myself first. And then what I know for sure, I'm always going to speak my mind and stand on it. And I think that it's okay to do that.
Yeah. Deanna, are you ready, or can
Huh?
Carolyn?
Oh, we can read Carolyn's.
Carolyn's is, I want to be more positive, and the biggest lesson learned is self-care. That's
Yep.
big. That's powerful. Thank you, Carolyn.
So I would say I learned um, that although I can have plans, things can change, and I can adapt, pivot, and I ultimately trust God's plan. It's better than mine anyway. Um, and what I know for sure is that I can have everything, like, period, everything.
I love it. You sure do. You sure can, girl. All of it. All right, guys. We have enjoyed this year, this podcast. Even though towards the end of the year we were all kind of separate,
That's
we
okay.
still know how to come together and have a great time, great conversation, and everybody has a voice. Everybody has a voice. Even when sometimes we don't, we coughing through it. But we hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. Carolyn, thank you so much for being here. My mom, Iris, for being here, and everybody else who watched. We want to make sure that for every show going forward, everybody knows that you have a voice here too. So we love when people comment in the comments. It helps our channel. If you know somebody who would even love to listen to this podcast, let them know about us. I want to say more. Like us, comment, subscribe to our channel, and share it. But on that note, keep brewing.
As always,
Keep
All
it
right,
moving.
great job. Thank you, Mom.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody. And keep it brewing. We'll see you guys next episode.
See you next year.
See you next year. Bye.